Welcome to the Mindset Social Author Series. I'm Dr. Doreen Downing, psychologist and host. I get to bring you to this network a author who has written books about mindfulness, and today I get to introduce a very special person. I'm just meeting her for the first time, so this will be our first conversation about her work. Dr. Catalina is what I call her, but her full name is Dr. Catalina Andrade. Hi, Catalina.
Hi there.
Yes. Well, I'm going to do a bio so that people do get a little bit of history, and then we get to dive in and learn more about your book, what brought you to writing it in the first place, and how it serves to spread mindfulness in the community that I know you have a heart for. And we'll hear more about that in just a sec. But Dr. Catalina is deeply passionate about holistic living, especially the mindfulness aspect of it, and equally committed to supporting the educational field. And she had the opportunity to bring these two passions together in her doctoral dissertation. And this transformational project became the basis for her book. Isn't that exciting? And she's now a wellness consultant for K-12, and she's a school social worker. And what I'm introducing you to today, the new book that she has out. Well, actually, there are two, but we'll start with the first one. And it's called Hearts, H-E-A-R-T-S. And we'll find out what each letter means today, but it's the Hearts method. I was going to tell you exactly what it is, but I think we'll wait and let her explain what they stand for. And she holds a doctorate of education and organizational leadership from the University of Massachusetts Global, where her 2024 dissertation, I will tell you that name, the contribution of mindfulness practice to supporting children and their families' challenges among school social workers. So we know that Dr. Catalina has lots to say because it was a dissertation. I know what that's like to do. And I'm really excited to dive in right now. Here we go. So inspired, that there's a reason because I did a book and I mean a dissertation. I know that there's something that draws us to something we want to focus on that then we can deliver. So, what inspired this book for you or this dissertation?
Okay, so that's a perfect question, and it's a perfect way to start with my dissertation because I think that when I started that project, that journey of becoming a doctor, as soon as I wanted to get into the program and become a doctor, I totally knew that my dissertation had to be in mindfulness. That
Oh,
was my day one thing that I told my mentor um, and the other group of students that we were as a cohort. I said, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but my dissertation has to be in mindfulness. And I think it's because a lot of my background comes from me as a holistic health practitioner. So I have been a holistic health practitioner for more than 20 years. And whatever kind of work I did, even when I went into educational work, I always brought a lot of that holistic lifestyle into my work. I did a lot of after school programs, tutoring, um, just supporting, becoming a liaison for parents and teachers. And during that time, I mean, working at a school site, people who work at a school site knows that every single day it's different and it
mm,
has its own challenges every single day. And it's not only about the student, it's also about our colleagues, our family, our communities.
yes.
So because of that, I wanted to bring something of the two worlds that I was really that I'm really passionate about, which is education
Mhm.
and mindfulness.
Yes.
And that is the main reason that I came up with, okay, I'm gonna work on my dissertation and it's going to be on mindfulness based on the holistic practices,
Mhm.
but the educational part actually came from the school social workers. So,
Uh,
a little bit about that. Although I'm not a social worker, I fell in love with the work that they do at the schools. The last job as a parent liaison for a community center at a school site, I had the opportunity for the first time to work with school social workers. Even though I had worked with so many other districts, I never got to learn that some schools had social workers.
mm,
And during that time as a holistic health practitioner, I also work with moms in supporting them to teaching them about how to take care in a holistic way, um, and mindfulness and meditation and natural practices with their families to take care of their babies and family. And when I got to learn about the work of social workers and I got to meet them, I said, social workers at a school are the moms of our schools. That's
okay,
how I saw them.
I'm going to put a pause in this right now because what you said so far is very, I just want the listeners to take it all in that your journey of being somebody who has deep understanding and has come to it just by by your own interest in mindfulness, holistic health. And I love this idea, what you just said about helping the moms, helping the parents learn about mindfulness, and then seeing that the social workers are the mom. I think that phrase, the social workers are the moms of the schools. Thank you. I wanted to highlight that first. So we're talking about you and the background and what inspired you to write this book, and you're going, ooh, I get a chance to bring these two worlds together in this book. So
Yeah.
so in this
Yeah.
book,
So in this book, Heart's method, it's my unique approach that I started realizing through all of these years working in education, doing my holistic and mindfulness practices, coaching other people as well. And I have been coaching moms, but also people in education. And I started noticing this pattern that every time I was doing exactly the same thing, and it was kind of a journey, taking someone through a journey. So my heart's method is by basically what I call a 6 phase journey to mindfulness. And because I am so passionate to work with people in education, I really wanted to focus in everything that I do to support people in education, everyone who works K to 12. And the
isn't
reason,
isn't K the kindergarten? So that's the very, unless we do pre-K, it feels like that once we get mindfulness integrated early on, it feels like it has value and we can change society from the young ones who grow who appreciate is that's what I'm seeing actually from the importance and value of starting with K kindergartners.
yes. So there's two main reasons that I chose K to 12.
Uh-huh.
Number one, because that's where I have my experience. I had the pleasure of working at elementary level, middle school, and high school.
Uh-huh.
And again, I was bringing a lot of the mindfulness and the holistic lifestyle into those after school programs and with everything that I did, and supported my colleagues. But based on my method, it's not the mindfulness for our students, but for the K to 12 school professional.
There you go.
And the reason is
Uh-huh.
that I am a big believer, and it can sound as a cliche, that you cannot give something that you don't have.
Mm. Can you say that one more time? Because I think that's the point that needs to resonate. Sure, we could do a program for children, but if the people who are teaching it aren't really familiar, embracing, practicing it, and know the power of it, it feels like it lessens the impact it could have.
Yes. And for me, that is the main reason that I really want to focus my method with the adults who are supporting our students.
Hmm.
Because I had been doing a lot of presentations, I have been going out to conferences, and one of my questions that I have given to my audience is, especially the ones that I know that they are actually doing mindfulness practices with their students.
Yeah,
And the funny thing is this, whenever I ask how many of you use mindfulness for their students, and
yeah.
a lot of people raise their hand.
And you're going
It
to ask
excites
another
me.
question, aren't you?
And
Yeah.
then I ask them, how many of you
Yes.
use mindfulness practices for yourself, even if
Right.
it's exactly the same practice? And
Yes.
unfortunately,
Right.
a lot of those hands just come down.
Uh-huh. Thank you for pointing to the discrepancy and why your book is so important.
Thank you for realizing and connecting with this
Yeah.
passion that I feel,
Yeah.
and the main reason that I wanted to bring this method out there into the educational field. Because I have been in the educational field for over 16 years now, I notice also that pattern of the burnout of the teachers, of
Mm.
anyone who work at a school site. I'm talking from secretary, custodians, to teachers, counselors, psychologists, everyone. Because at the end, they're people with a good heart trying to help someone else.
Yes. Yeah.
But unfortunately, we're forgetting that they're also human.
Uh-huh.
They're human beings as anybody else. They have their own challenges, but many of them are in service of serving others, which are parents, students, the community. So again, if they're not feeling great, if they're having their own challenges, how can they come and support someone who has another challenge?
Okay. So that's a very good question, and that's why you've written the book. And so, hearts, H-E-A-R-T-S, I know what it means, but do spell it out for our listeners today, please.
Yes. So my method is called H.E.A.R.T.S method. It's the acronym of H.E.A.R.T.S, which is H-E-R-A-R-T-S. And H stands for honoring, because again, I think that when we think of mindfulness and mindfulness practices, yes, I love it that it's becoming more natural to talk about in education, especially in education. Um, But then I think that when people start learning about mindfulness, they think about it as a tool of techniques that they can reach out to, that they can use when they're feeling stress.
Mhm.
My whole method is I don't want you to see mindfulness just as a tool, just as a technique. I want you to have a journey of mindfulness. And at the end of that journey, really embody that mindfulness. That whatever, if you're eating, you're walking, you're doing grades, having a class, you're doing a one on one with a student, you're mindful, you're present.
Yes.
So
Yes.
for me, this is why I wanted to start with honoring,
Uh-huh.
to remind people that they have to honor themselves the same way that they are honoring other people and that they're trying to help other people.
Great point. And I like the idea that there's a journey and that you're teaching them that there's a place to start, which is awareness of and honoring. I love that word, honoring. I had never really put it together with mindfulness in this way. So thank you. H-E, I know what E stands for. It's one of my skills as a psychotherapist, as a psychologist. So E, empathy.
E, it's for evaluating.
Uh-huh.
Once we start in the process of honoring and becoming aware, E, for evaluating, it's going to help us really find out where are we really feeling and coming like our stress is coming from. Because a lot of people, they just say, I feel burnout, I feel stressed out.
Uh-huh.
But is that stress physical stress? Is that mentally? Or is that emotionally?
Mhm.
Because if it's emotionally, but you don't understand, you are not aware that that stress is coming from something emotional, and you try to meditate or try to do exercise or yoga, I am really sorry, but with my experience throughout these years, it's not going to help you because you're not supporting that emotional part that it's really the one creating that stress. So
Mhm.
the evaluating part, it's defining how am I feeling physically? Do I need extra support on my physical? How is my mental? And do I need any support for my mental? And then how are my emotions?
Mhm.
So,
Body, self, and soul is what we call that. So I get it that it's an inward questioning about self. And so H-E-A,
so
A,
A, now that we have honored ourselves, now that we have evaluated where are we struggling, now A is for applying. Now we can apply mindfulness
ah,
into either the body, the mind, or the emotions.
uh-huh,
And in my book, I give you a section of exercise of techniques that you can actually use that if you're feeling physically stressed out, here are some options for you. If you're feeling mentally like scattered or there's just overwhelm in your mind, then I give you other exercises to help you with that, and so on as well for emotion.
well, it's customized. It's like based on how I've evaluated myself, then I have some, I don't want to call them tools or techniques, some strategies, and I get to pick. I like the idea of having a smorgasbord.
And here's the beauty of it. I think that once people start realizing that they can start
Ah,
taking care of themselves this way by evaluating each part of them,
yes.
then they really start creating their own mindful self-care routine,
Hmm. Right. Creating their own. I like that.
which it's going to be different for everyone, right? Because what
Right.
helps me, it doesn't mean
Mm,
it's going to help Dr. Doreen here.
right. This is
So
excellent that it's not just, hey, here's my method and you all apply this method to yourself. You're saying, hey, no, this is the journey you get to take and it's one of self-exploration and I like that. So R.
So R is for receiving.
Mm, mm,
We're always so much in service,
mm,
especially our people who work in education. They're always giving, or social workers, they're always open. They
mhm,
have this open door to always receiving. That's why I call them, oh, here are the moms of our schools. They're always open. They're always taking care of the kids. If they're crying, if they're having anxiety, whatever's going on, they're always open to receive them and support them.
mhm,
And that's why I really wanted to bring this part of receiving
mm,
because it also comes from myself, my own experience.
mhm,
As a female, as someone who's a helper, a problem solver, it has been something that I personally had to work to be open to receive.
Uh-huh. Okay, so what you've done is, hey, you guys, you're always taking in and helping and giving, giving, giving. So the receiving though is about receiving what,
So
Dr.
just
Catalina?
become, sure, it's just becoming open to
Open.
receive that extra help, even of
Uh,
themselves, of these new
uh-huh.
techniques, of this new approach.
Uh-huh. So willingness, I get it now, more in terms of the willingness to be open. Okay, H-E-A-R-T. What's
And
T?
then T, it's transformation.
Oh, yes.
And I have a huge belief from my experience and just watching many of my clients go through this journey that if you want any kind of real transformation in your life, you always have to go deep into your emotions.
Mm,
Your
good one.
emotions are so connected into your mind and into your physical body.
Oh, yes.
So,
Yeah.
because of this, T
Mm,
is for transformation and it's really focusing on feeling those emotions, those heavy emotions, but learning to transform them through mindfulness into
mhm,
a lighter version.
mhm. It occurs to me that H, honoring, and then the E, evaluation, A, the kind of the awareness that we're talking about and applying, and then R, by the time you get to T, you've already been on a transformational journey.
Yes, yes,
Okay, I got
yes.
it. Well, I'm going to go to S because I want to make sure and get everything in before we have to close our time together. S.
So S is for settling. Remember when I said, I want you to, at the end of the journey, to not think of mindfulness just as a toolkit of practices, of techniques, of exercises. I want you to embody it.
Yeah.
So S is to settle in mindfulness.
Oh.
That as
All
you,
right. So let me just settle for us right here, right now. Breath to me and being open in my heart to receiving and transformation, being willing to do my emotional work and settle. Ah, settling into this now moment. That's new,
yes.
is what I just got, I think. So say more about settling.
So it is my way for people to approach mindfulness
Uh-huh.
in a natural way,
Natural. Love that. Yeah.
that it just becomes so natural for them that it becomes part of them. It becomes part of their life in a natural way.
Mm-hmm.
And how do I do this? Is you take this journey. You take all of these little pieces, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
then I don't even stop there.
Uh-huh.
What I do is that every practice that I teach you, it takes seconds or minutes, like really short minutes.
Mm-hmm. I like
Because
that idea. Short minute.
because I am a huge believer that especially if you're just beginning with mindfulness, if I tell you, Doreen, you have to do yoga every day for 1 hour. I don't know your lifestyle. Is
Right.
that going to work? Do you actually like yoga? Do you know what kind of yoga you're gonna like? I want people to start thinking and start becoming aware of what works for them.
Yes.
And instead of doing big chunks of a mindful activity, which they're great, I'm not saying that they're not, but I think that if someone is beginning with mindfulness, it is much better to do 30 seconds here, 1 minute here, 30 seconds here again. And I
I
think
agree.
that in the world of education, we need
Yes.
that.
Yes, that permission and that we don't have to come up with a certain how we think it is or some following some prescription about how long we should meditate and how it works, but just taking a full, easy breath. It
Exactly.
takes like you said, just a quick moment. Well, we're needing to come to a close here, and I'm so glad you did explained all the Hearts method and how important it is for schools. I'm sure there's so much more we could talk about. Are you someplace where people could learn more about you and ask you more questions, learn more about how you are bringing it to schools?
Yes, definitely. They can reach me out at my own website, which is drcatalina.com.
Mhm. Well, Dr. Catalina, this is amazing that you took some time to actually go through each one so deliberately and so with mindfulness, actually being able to help guide us. What I saw today was that I also, just by listening to you, went on a journey. Right. So thank you so much. And I look forward to sharing this with our colleagues on Mindset Social and invite all those who have been listening to our conversation today to tune in to mindsetsocial.com, and you'll find other interviews that I've done with other authors, but you'll also find other professionals in all realms of any kind of industry, up and down, whatever you can think. There are those of us now who are totally dedicated and committed, like Dr. Catalina, in bringing mindfulness into arenas that before might have rejected it. But we are, as the last person I talked to, we are peaceful warriors. Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Catalina.
you.